welcome to Praveen Online Academy. Today we are going to discuss the chapter circulation. In this chapter we are going to discuss detail regarding the circulation in our human body as well as single cell circulation. By the end of the chapter we are going to know the process of circulation that which we are going to occurring in our human body, as well as we are able to see in the circulation in single cell organisms as well as multicellular organisms. Coming to our chapter circulation. So the definition of circulation is the continuous movement of blood throughout the body. It transports oxygen, nutrients, hormones and removes carbon dioxide and wastage. So circulation means continuous movement of blood throughout our body. So along the blood, in the blood there were some constants like the blood transfers the oxygen, nutrients, next hormones, and collects the carbon dioxide and wastages. What are the wastages? Products that are produced in our tissues, cells, that will collect the carbon dioxide and wastages, as well as it will transport the oxygen and hormones as well as nutrients from our body to the body. Clear? So simply circulation means transporting through the blood, the transport of oxygen takes place as well as nutrients, then hormones, removal of carbon dioxide and wastages. So what is the use of oxygen? So we know that oxygen helps in the formation or production of energy. So whatever the oxygen that were present, that we're getting through the lungs, it is absorbed by the blood. Through the blood, the oxygen particles will travel, circulate, enter the body parts. Then coming to nutrients. Whatever the food that we are eating, the digested food in the form of proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins will give us energy. That are known as nutrients. That absorbed nutrients will travel through the blood. Clear? So after traveling through the blood, it will enter in the tissues. From there we are getting the energy. Then coming to hormones. Hormones are also transferred. Then it will collect the carbon dioxide and wastages and remove through our body through the excretion and through the filtration occurs through the kidneys. Clear? In this chapter we are going to discuss the detail about circulation, the process of circulation system and everything. Okay, next coming to chapter. We given the activity 1. Look at this activity 1. What is given? Could you find out yourself what the doctors doing? Keep your index and middle finger on your wrist in the thumb shown in the figure 1. So look at this figure 1. Figure 1 is given that hold your wrist. This is the wrist area. So to the wrist area you have to place 2 fingers, that is index finger and middle finger, and hold it properly. Just try to listen what is going to happen, what is going to occur. So when you are placing these 2 fingers, there is a rhythmic beating. The rhythmic beating of sound you are able to hear. The rhythmic beating we call as a pulse. Simply pulse means whenever the blood pumps through the arteries. So through that blood, when a pumping occurs, the rhythmic beatings you are able to hear through your wrist region. Clear? Through the wrist region you are able to sing. So just hold your 2 fingers, keep it on wrist, let it absorb for 1 minute. Take a timer and observe your readings for 1 minute. Then observe the total number of beats. Clear? What is given? It gives 2 differences. The first difference is you have to observe the pulse rate while sitting normal position, and the second thing is you have to observe the pulse rate after jogging. After jogging means after you can run or after doing some exercise. Just try to observe the pulse rate. He given the 2 situations. Write the name of the person and at rest position. At rest position you have to check, as well as immediate after jogging. For example, run for 2 minutes continuously, immediately running, sit at one position and try to read your pulse rate. Try to read your pulse rate and observe the readings. Clear? Listen here. First write the name of the person. At rest position means normal position. try to count the pulse rate per 1 minute. In 1 minute, how much amount of pulse rate are getting? For example, take the 70. Per minute, I am getting 70, and after jogging, you will get 80 or 85. Around changes different from person to person. Clear? The difference in this table 1, in the activity 1, you are able to observe is before the running and after the running. Means the person at rest position. The person is at rest position. When the person is at rest position and after the jogging, the pulse rate was various. The pulse rate was not same, different changes. Here I give an example as 70. Here it is 80 to 90. So after jogging and before jogging, the pulse rate, the pulse beat will changes. Depends upon the type of exercises, the pulse rate will changes. Next, coming to the activity 2. In that same experiment, in the Israeli experiment, in the activity 2, coming to activity 2, you have to take what is the, look at this figure. Okay, stop. Okay, coming to activity 1. Activity 1 regarding the pulse, checking the, how to check the pulse rate. What is pulse? So simply pulse is expansion of arteries due to heartbeat. Whenever the heartbeat takes place and the blood travels, circulate through the arteries. So through the arteries, when you place your fingers at the wrist region, you have to take your 2 fingers, that is index finger as well as middle finger. Place your fingers properly at your wrist region. After placing, try to observe the rhythmic waves. After that, what you are going to observe, you are able to observe that the count of. Okay, from this above experiment activity 1, and from the activity 1, we were able to find out that the rate of pulse rate, the pulse rate will be different according to a different time situation. For example, when a person is very angry, when a person is in upright position, the pulse rate starts increases rapidly. When the person is in normal position, the pulse rate will beat normal state. So coming to here, from these variables, first you have to know definition of pulse rate. Pulse means expansion of arteries due to heartbeat. Okay, from the activity 1, we are going to find that the pulse rate, it is able to differ. The rate of pulse rate per minute will be different according to different situation. For example, during jogging, after jogging, the pulse rate will be example for 85 to 90, and at rest position will be 70 to 75. So from this activity, we can say that the pulse rate will be varies and on the situation, way of the work, way of the conditions we are doing. For example, when you are in at hangry position, when you are at upright position, the pulse rate starts increasing more. Clear? Depends upon the situation, the pulse rate also changes. Per minute, the normal pulse rate per minute will be 72. Per minute, the normal pulse rate will be 72. Then coming to the activity 2. So we see that pulse rate varies from person to person, situation to situation. Simply the pulse rate will be changes according to situation to situation. Means, for example, when you rate happy position, when you rate upright or wide situation, the pulse rate will be changes. Depends upon the situation. Simply the pulse rate will be changes, depends upon the situation. Clear? Now coming to, so it is not constant. It will be not same. Observe your pulse rate rhythm in other ways as well as such as climbing states, running, etc. Simply what is saying is, you can observe your pulse rate by your own. So when you're climbing mountains or when you're immediately after running, when you're at normal position, try to observe the pulse rate in these 3 different situations. For example, try to sit in a normal position, quiet position, observe pulse rate per 1 minute and count the number of pulse is able to getting, and observe that after the jogging. And third thing is, when you're climbing, when you're doing some exercises, try to calculate the 3 pulse rate. In that calculation, you're able to observe that the pulse rate of 3 different categories will be changes, will be difference. Clear? Simply the pulse rate will be changes according to situation to situation. So it is not constant. The pulse rate will be not constant, will be changes according to the situations. Clear? Next, coming what is given? there is a relationship between the pulse rate and heartbeat. There is a relationship between the pulse rate and heartbeat. What is the first? You have to know the definition of heartbeat. What is the heartbeat? One complete contraction and relaxation. One complete contraction and relaxation of heart is known as heartbeat. We will discuss detail in the further regarding the heart, structure of heart in our human body. Clear? So simply pulse rate will be same. Pulse rate as well as heart rate will be both are correlated, interlinked to each other. Next, what is given? For this, you have to make your own stethoscope. What is meant by stethoscope? Stethoscope is a device that which will detect the sound of your pulse as well as heartbeat. Simply, when you went to hospital, you can see that stethoscope wearing by the doctors. I will show that image, stethoscope image. Look here, this is a image of stethoscope. So these are placed to the ears of the doctor, and these are drum-like structures will be placed at your wrist region or at your chest region. By placing that, this drum which will detect the low amount of low quality of sound, and we are able to hear the proper heartbeat and pulse rate with help of the stethoscope. Majorly, when you went to the doctor, you are able to find the stethoscope near the doctor. Clear? Next, coming to activity 2. What is given regarding the activity 2? We seen the pulse rate where it's coming here. From this, you have to make so look at this mastic and stethoscope. Just try to take that shed button which is larger in size. Try to take this shed button as well as mastic as shown in the figure. So after taking that one, carefully insert this shed button around the proper region of your wrist, and above the shed button try to place the mastic. After placing, you have to observe carefully, is there any changes? Is there any changes means is the mastic is able to move upward and downward direction. Whether it is moving or not, if it is moving, just try to count the seconds per minute. Per minute, how many numbers of ups and downs are going, and why the ups and downs are going. Just try to comment your answer in the form of comment box. So what is given the questions after doing this activity, just try to answer these questions. What is given? Place it on your wrist and observe the movements in a mastic. Simply you have to place on your wrist. First you have to place the button. On the above of the button you have to place the mastic. Clear? Then try to observe. You are able to observe that there is a fluctuations. They are moving ups and downs of the mastic. That ups and downs indicates the pulse rate. Means the pulse are going to happen at your wrist region. Next, what is given? What do you find? And when do you think our pulse rate goes up? And what does the pulse rate show? Just try to give these answers in the form of comment box. Try to give the proper answers. From the above experiment, you can give the answers properly. Next, do you know, given on table, the table regarding the rate of pulse rate will difference according to the ages. He given that newborn baby between 3 months to 0 to 3 months. The newborn baby from 0 to 3 months, the pulse rate will be higher, that is 100 to 150. It will be very higher. Then coming to infant. Infant means the age between 3 to 6 months. Only 3 to 6 months, not years. 3 to 6 months, the pulse rate will be 90 to 120. Then infants, that is age from 6 to 12 months. From 6 to 12 months, the pulse rate will be 80 to 120. Next, children from 1 year to 10 years. The average pulse rate is 70 to 130. Then coming to children over 10, above 10 and the adults. Above 10 adults including senior citizens, the pulse rate will be 60 to 100. Then well-trained adults athletes. So those are performing athletes, those who are well trained for the sports, those are well involved in the sports, the heartbeat with the pulse rate will be different. Look here, there is a slow pulse rate, was taking place. These were the pulse rate regarding the different ages. Clear? So from this we can say that the pulse rate of the athletes, those who are performing those who are involved in the sports, games, etc., the pulse rate will be gradually decreases. Will be very. Next, in the year 1816, Rene Lienz discovered stethoscope. Now coming to discovery of stethoscope. Before discovering of stethoscope, in the year we discovered stethoscope in the year 1816. Okay, but before the discovery of stethoscope, that is before the 18th century, how the doctors able to identify the heartbeat of the patient. Before discovery of stethoscope, that is talking regarding the before 1816, the doctors are able to hear the sound of the heartbeat through the doctors listening to the heartbeat of the patient by placing his ear on the back of the patient. Simply without discovering before discovery of stethoscope, the doctors were able to observe the heartbeat by placing the doctor ears to the backside of the patient. By this reason, they discovered the heartbeat. Later on, the scientist known as Rene Lienz, in the 18th century, he discovered the stethoscope. Before discovering stethoscope, doctor used to hear the heartbeat by keeping ear on the chest of the patient. Next, Lien found that paper tube helps to hear the heartbeat perfectly. So he found that Lien is a scientist. He found that paper tube, the tube which is made by the paper, it is useful for the hearing the heartbeat. So Lien found that paper tube helps to hear the heartbeat perfectly. Then he used the bamboo stick instead of paper tube to hear the heartbeat. Lien called it stethoscope, and he is the scientist given the naming as stethoscope. Look here what he done. Before that the Lienz created the stethoscope through the paper. Okay, he is a scientist. So first he found the stethoscope. He invented the stethoscope through the paper. Through the paper, he is able to hearing the heartbeat by placing the stethoscope on the patient backside or on the front portion of the chest region. We can listen the heartbeat by the two regions, by dorsal side and ventral side. Dorsal means back side of the. For example, I am turning back side. My backer portion will be dorsal side, and my front portion, which I am looking the appearing front portion, that we call as a ventral side. It is a ventral region, and my back side region is dorsal region. So we can hear that. We can hear the heartbeat by the dorsal side as well as frontal side. At the frontal side, you have to place the stethoscope at your chest region. At back side, your backer portion of this region, below the 6 inches of the neck. From the neck below the 6 inches, you are able to observe the heartbeat. Then later on, after that, he made a stethoscope through the paper. Then later on, he only prepared the stethoscope through the bamboo stick. It is a stethoscope made by the bamboo. So it is also prepared done by the Lienz. Later on, we found a modern stethoscope. Now we are using the modern stethoscope. This region we call as a diaphragm, and these are the tubes. We are able to see the stethoscope at clinics and hospitals. Next, coming to here, he given how we prepared the stethoscope. Let us repeat the work done by the Lienz. Make a paper tube 10 inches long, 1 inch in diameter. So how we prepare, Lienz? Make a paper tube 10 inch long and 1 inch diameter. Simply he taken a tube, create into 10 inches in lengthwise. In length it is 10 inches. In diameter, from here to here it will be diameter. At half portion it is a radius, or a diameter of 1 inch. Okay. Then what is given? 10 inch and 1 inch of the diameter, keeping one end of the chest region of your friend and point the inch of the left side to the center of the around 6 inches below the neck. You have to arrange this. Whenever stethoscope is placing, you have to place the distance which is 10 inches, 6 inches from the neck. From the neck region, it will be below the 6 inches. you have to place the stethoscope and reach this region. The heartbeat are able to visible perfectly, are able to hear perfectly. And after placing the stethoscope, you have to observe the heartbeat per minute and try to note down your readings. Next, table 2, what is given? Next, you have to take 10 students. 10 students to the 10 students in the table form. You have to fill the student name and you have to observe the heartbeat at rest position. You have to observe the heartbeat at rest position per minute as well as pulse rate of the same person. For each person, you have to observe the heartbeats per minute as well as pulse rate per the minute and try to write the heartbeat and pulse rate of the person in the tabular form. You have to observe that at least 10 students of your class. By observation, by the end of result, you are able to see that the pulse rate, the heartbeat and pulse rate will be both are closer, both are almost equal, both are same. So simply by this activity, we can say that the pulse rate and the heartbeat of a same person will be same. Look at this graph. We take the person of the Ishwar. Okay, the pulse rate and heartbeat both are having same, both are same per minute. According to the minute, the pulse rate and heartbeat of a same person will be same. Simply by this activity, we can say that the pulse rate and heartbeat will be same to this specific person. Clear? Next, now try to understand the structure of method of working of vital organ. Vital organ means the organs that which plays a key role in our human body. For example, brain, heart, kidneys. These are the vital organs that which will play key role for survival of our life. Clear? It is a beat of heart which keeps alive. Heart is located between the position of the heart. Okay, I will show the position of your heart. Okay, now coming to, let us try to understand the structure and method of working of this vital organ, the heart. So vital organ means the organs which plays key role in our body regarding the functions. Brain, heart, kidneys, these were some of the vital organs of our body which will play key role for survival. What is now coming to the heart? It is a beat of the heart which keeps us alive. Heart is located between the lungs, protected by the rib cage. The size of your heart is approximately the size of your fist. Look here, the position of the heart. The position of the heart. Okay, I'll show with your diagram. Look at the position of this heart. Heart is situated. Heart is located between the lungs. It is covered by the rib cage. It is protected by pericardial membranes. Heart is covered by the two layers. Heart layer, that is pericardial layer. Between these two layers, between this one layer, between this a fluid. Pericardial fluid, there will be a presence of fluid. That fluid we call as a pericardial fluid. It will protect from the shock absorbance and shocks. For example, when I am pushing someone person to the chest portion, so this fluid will absorb the shocks and everything. Simply the fluid will protect the heart by the shocks and shock absorbance and electricals. This pericardial fluid between the two layers, there is the presence of pericardial fluids. Heart is covered by two layers, that is called as pericardial membranes. Between these two layers, there is the presence of fluid. That fluid we call as pericardial fluid, and it is present between the lungs and protected by the rib cage, and its backside will be presence of backbone. Between these, heart will be present. Next, coming to the lab activity. This lab activity regarding the structure, the finding how the structure of the heart. By this activity, we can see that the structure of heart, how the heart is able to visible. So before that, you know the lab activity. For the lab activity, we have to do as a aim, metal required, procedure, observation and conclusion. So aim for the observation of internal structure of the mammalian heart. How the heart actually look like. So we are able to observe metal liquids. For this we have to know the freshly collected specimen of heart of a sheep. You can take the heart of a sheep or goat from the shop, then take the soda straws, use a pen, refills, sharp and long blade or scalp tray, jug of water, dissection scissors and forceps. Look here, freshly collected specimen of, you can take the heart of the goat or sheep. Then soda straws, which is cylindrical tube-like structure, that is you have to take this soda straws. Then or refill, user refills, sharp and long blade or scalp, which is used to cut the heart properly. You have to take the sharp blade. Then tray, jug of water, you have to place the heart in the tray and you have to place the heart in which is covered with the water. Then dissection of scissors and forceps. You have to take this glove as well as you have to use the gloves and forceps. Next, since the structure of the mammalian heart and similar to the goat. So why we am taking the goat heart means the goat heart resembles similar to the human heart. Whatever the structure of the human heart's parts and everything is resemble similar to the goat. For that reason we are able to we can take the heart of goat or sheep. Simply since the structure of all mammalian heart are similar. Goat is also mammalian. For that our both hearts are similar. For that reason we are able to take the goat heart. We can take sheep heart or goat heart from our observation. From this we need the following materials. Next, procedure. What is the procedure and what we have to do? The procedure is, before coming to the class, wash the heart thoroughly so that blood is completely drained from the chambers of the heart. So completely remove the heart, blood from the heart. So by washing with the water. Next, what you can take the soda straws, insert them into the stumps of the blood vessels. What are these water straws that were taken with the help of the pen straws and soda straws? You have to place that straws inside the vessels of arteries and veins of the heart. By that we can remove the complete blood which is present in the chambers of your goat heart. Clear? After that, then cut into dissectional area. Then they cut that heart into dissectional area with help of the sharp blade. And before doing this experiment, you have to wear the safety gloves. Safety gloves, you have to use the forceps. You have to wear the mask. Then what you get? After cutting this one, how many layers are covering the heart? Then look the heart. In the heart, how many layers that you are able to visible? How many large blood vessel stumps are attached to the heart? Which end of the heart is broader and which end is narrow? By the observation, by the looking, you can answer these questions. Clear?